Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. We all love Eve Echoes more or less. The idea of being an immortal pilot capable of so many things is breathtaking. Flying all sorts of ships and using a myriad of weapon systems, exploring space and its secrets, waging wars with your neighboring space alliances, or just sitting idly in a belt chugging at some asteroid with your mining vessel. The Sandbox experience that Eve Echoes offers is truly unique and amazing. For some, this is our favorite game, not just to play, but a place where we can hang out around with our friends from all over the world, exploring the vastness of space represented by the new Eden cluster. Regardless if you are a miner, a builder, an explorer, or a hardcore PvP pilot, or even a Care Bear, you probably came across one or more issues on this list one too many times, to the point where your gaming experience and immersion into this awesome sandbox has been partially or severely affected. Today, we are going to look at the top 10 things that are either missing, badly need fixing, rebalancing, or a complete redesign and overhaul. Do stick around until the end of the video to find out if you've won a 30-day Omega combo and learn how you can participate for our next giveaway draw next week. So fasten your seatbelts, retract your solar arrays, and if you're a Mmorpg, do put some more duct tape on those starboard panels so you don't lose them, because
warp drive active.
Number 10! The market is an important feature of Eve Echoes. It's the place where everyone buys and sells, from minerals to built final produce, as in ships, from items looted off NPCs or players, to special items and faction modules dropped in dangerous nihil space and dead space pockets. The market is the central hub of player-driven economy inside the sandbox. Although it has been significantly simplified from its big brother counterpart in EVE Online, it's still plagued by issues even after almost 2 years since launch. The broker fees and sales tax are ridiculous and absurd, even with market skills maxed out. The players have no easy way of checking their personal buy or sell order prices against the current prices of the market, as the panel is missing a simple context button that would allow them to do so, making the process of adjusting your orders a pain. Also, there's no way to set destination to a location displayed in any of the buy orders. If you see somebody wanting to buy at a good price at a specific location, you literally have to close the market, open the map, look up the system and station, and set destination manually. You call this simplified? How about the fact that there's no market transaction history data for any of the stuff listed in there, and that the market estimated values are not even updated automatically every day, but instead manually every week. And not to mention that all of these features are already present in EVE Online since a long freaking time ago. The market clearly needs some attention. Number 9. Drones are a powerful tool in the far dystopian future of mankind, either being used as a complementary weapon system or as the main damage dealers. Drones sure are versatile. However, if you've probably noticed, there's a bunch of things wrong with them. They don't all return once your target is out of range, making this problem exploitable in PvE and PvP scenarios. The ways of how they function and how they can be used have been completely redesigned from their counterparts in EVE Online, instead of being present as contextually independent, to be launched from a drone bay and used like in EVE Online via an attribute called drone bandwidth. The redesign in Eve Echoes saw them being integrated as fittable mid-slots, ultimately hindering the slot layout of all ships. The drone bandwidth attribute dictates how many drones can you launch and what drone size can you use. This implies that a ship could use 5 small drones, or 1 heavy drone per se, basically using the drone bandwidth attribute to its full potential. However, here ships have drone tubes that allow fitting of drones with size equal or less than the drone tube description. This means that from being an effective tool of big husky ships for defending against small targets, which can go under and avoid big guns, the drones have been reduced to a joke. So unless your ship is a designated drone boat, your drone system most likely sucks. Not to mention the clumsy mechanics that represent swapping of drones, making them a cringy weapon system at best. The drones sure need a complete redesign, probably a proper design, which resembles that of its evil line big brother. A game that has been balanced out for the past 18 years or so. Reinventing the wheel much? Number 8! Destroyers are versatile ships that can fulfill many roles depending on their variant, while maintaining their primary role as anti-frigate platforms. Wait, that's not, correction. Destroyers should be versatile ships that can fulfill many roles depending on their variant, while maintaining their primary role as an anti-frigate platform. Currently, not so much. The damage output and speed are very much lacking, with most frigates having more DPS than destroyers, and cruisers being able to fly faster than destroyers. They are at the bottom of the food chain with no practical use, well, except maybe the advanced versions used for interdiction or their assault versions in tech level 10, but that's a very huge discrepancy in relation to what these ships are supposed to do. And to top things off, instead of receiving several buffs during last year's April balance patch, they only received a small upgrade to speed, which is still insufficient, while many versions of the destroyers received a nerf to their weapons systems. What? Oh my god, who did this? This is freaking horrible. Can we get somebody on the line? Seems nobody's answering. They should be answering the player base calls, because these ships definitely need some updates in the upcoming balance patch, or else, as people reach cruisers and past tech level 7, the destroyers are just going to be dead content that no one uses. Rest in peace. Number 7! We foretold long ago, even before we had the capability and tech level to fly them, that these ships were unbalanced. Yet, no course of action was taken, and now they probably sit on a pedestal for the most nastiest ships in the game. That's right, we're talking about Interceptors and their tech level 10 variants. The Scepters are supposed to do just that: intercept, tackle, and scout due to their high speed and interdiction bubble immunity. But in their effort to create a difference between the tech level 7 and tech level 10, the devs inadvertently created an abomination. They can outclass many from their ship class, which is frigates, in terms of damage, speed, and range, and due to the combination of the before mentioned perks, they can be unmatched even versus significantly bigger ship classes, not to mention brutally efficient versus ships that in theory should be anti-interceptors. Rest in peace, destroyers. They can move faster than missiles, they can avoid enemy tracking. Hell, the Slasher even uses missile instead of its roll bonus autocannons because it messes up its own tracking. These ships are freaking dangerous, but they shouldn't be that dangerous. When a ship outperforms its nemesis in every other area possible, then you can just take your balance ideas and throw them in the bin, because it's rubbish. Additionally, due to their speed, agility, and interdiction bubble nullification bonuses, they have been replacing ships and jobs all over the place. These ships are used as haulers, they're even used as exploration ships. These things have too many roles, and it beats the purpose of a ship being specialized. Interceptor my ass. How about a jack-of-all-trades frigate? This ship type needs a redesign. Its roles need rethinking, because due to this, plenty of other ships have just become irrelevant. Number 6! Scanning and exploration should be a self-sustaining profession to allow the pilot to search for hidden riches, explore unknown parts of space. We all wanted exploration to arrive in EVE Echoes. It did, but it was not what we expected. Initially, we only received Nihilist Space, which is mostly group content, and of course, the ability to scan down other players. Due to popular demand, solo exploration finally arrived somewhere down the road, but the content was disappointing at best. The sites themselves are very rare, and the loot is not so great, and the hacking mechanics are all dice and roll RNG based, with an astonishing fail rate of 75%, even with max skills. Holy shit. It's safe to assume scarcity can be a good thing, as it prevents overflow and surplus of items obtained via relic and data sites, but the hacking definitely needs an overhaul. The devs need to make the relic and data sites hacking meaningful to the player. Even with the best modules and hacking skills in 5.5.5, the failure rate is 75%. What the bloody hell? Add a hacking minigame where the player skills, investments, and personal gaming skills actually matter, and if hacking failure occurs, it will be due to the player not hacking correctly, and not due to RNG. It takes 4 to 7 hours to find a quality relic or data site, and then guess what? The cans just blow up in your face for absolutely no reason, because dice rolls. Absolutely horrible. Yet again, the Big Brother EVE Online has some of the best mechanics for solo exploration, not to mention secret chaining missions called escalations that take you exploring deeper and deeper, and of course hidden stashes that require the players to solve puzzles by putting correct items in a correct order inside activating gizmos based on clues found within the site to find immense wealth, or guess what? Blow up due to solving the puzzle in the wrong way and triggering a trap. This feature desperately needs better content. Number 5. Are you a new player and wondering why does it take a whole freaking year or even more to hop in a battleship? If you've asked yourself this question, then you've probably realized that the ship deck tree is poorly designed. The original ship deck tree in EVE Online was engineered to give the player a horizontal progression for base holes and a vertical progression for advanced variants of these base holes called specializations. Somehow, in EVE Echoes, we ended up with a straight vertical progression tree which offers no specialization, and because of the verticality, a battleship can't be reached for a very long time. The advantage of also having a horizontal base hole plus vertical specialization gives the player power of choice to use most base holes while specifically training to use advanced variants, which do require a long time of training to mastery. Not to mention that advanced and specialized versions of ships have great power compared to their base hull counterparts, but this is EVE Online. However, in Echoes, there are no specializations, and the difference in ships between the vertical tech levels is just a matter of increased bonuses. And while training to reach the battleships, you inadvertently unlock everything else as well. This is an issue that many of us pointed out since the alpha and beta versions. We were very vocal about it and considered it to be unhealthy in the long run, especially for new players that will probably join the game much later after launch. Well, here we are. There are still ways to remodel this, but as more time passes by, it will become increasingly difficult, near almost impossible, to redesign the tech tree. What a pity. Number 4! Can't have an MMO without massive big fights. But what happens when big is not handled properly? Well, pretty much this happens. Wow, this game is really fun now. You can't see anything. Well, bummer. Bad netcode combined with a not so good situation on the international server hosting, combined with the myriad of mobile devices on the market, all lead to this problem. Disconnection frenzy and the epic black screen syndrome. Some might argue that it's normal for this to happen. I mean, 1,000 players in the same system shooting in every direction. What would you expect? Well, I expect plenty. To help with our comparison, the Chinese server experienced several large battles up until now, and larger than the international one. Sure, there was some lag, but for that, the devs introduced time dilation some time ago to help the server process all the information that's happening. But in terms of disconnections and black screens, not so much. This is also due to the fact that peering is much better since the players connect to a server that resides in their own country. Of course, we expect some latency and some lag on the international server, but there are other games running international servers and it works perfectly fine. I wonder why. The requirement to host a server for the entire globe to connect is a challenge in on itself, and challenges are good because they help you improve. A few touches on the backend netcode and client optimizations should help remove the black screen at least. There's definitely room for improvement here, and this should be of high interest to the developers because big fights are part of EVE. If you take that away, well then it's no longer a massive multiplier title. Am I right? They're just taking the MMO out of Mmorpg. Number 3! Highsec Islands are an interesting mechanic that favor the generation of tech level 10 missions being done continuously. This feature was present in the game since launch, just that the people who knew about it said nothing. Well, everything changed once I managed to discover them by analyzing how the encounter mission spawning works. As long as you are in a Highsec system that is at least 2 jumps away from other Highsec systems, you get all missions generated in the same spot, with zero need of travel. For casual players this is amazing as they can farm for 1 or 2 hours at peace, but of course no good feature goes unpunished. Some of the nullsec alliances are exploiting these every day to generate insane amount of ISK, which can then be turned into plaques or insurance points to sustain nullsec wars. Some just multi-box the hell out of this into oblivion, even though I exposed this and argued that a fix for this should be delicate, so that Highsec folks and casual players could still enjoy it. Nothing was done for this matter. Amongst the proposed fixes that me and other well-minded people suggested, some of them make very much sense, like 8 missions spawn, then a cooldown timer to prevent exploitation, or even lower the rewards if you keep chaining the missions, just like diminishing returns. Until this day, we have no statement from the developers from acknowledging that this is an exploit, or even acknowledging that this is an issue in and of itself. Oh my god! Number 2! EVE Echoes is a free-to-play game, but it has to generate some money out of something, right? The microtransactions ideology started to become popular around 2010, and many game companies believe this to be the future, as opposed to, well, subscription-based games. And they were right. People are attracted to this type of monetization and spend much more on trinkets and cosmetics and gimmicks than facing a round figure for a monthly payment. However, abusing human psychology has its drawbacks. This can be seen in recent times, with game companies resorting to shameful cash grabs under the guise of DLC spam and pay-to-win aggressive marketing. So far, EVE Echoes is almost impossible to become pay-to-win, mostly because of how it is structured, as no matter how much money you put in, there's always going to be a swarm of smaller fish camping you at the gate, ready to take it all away. But the Cashgrab Events and abuse of human nature in this game has taken its toll on the player base, managing to dislodge a big portion of it, due to several reasons. Players realizing that they spend too much. Yeah, believe me, $5 and $5 and $10 and $2 and $1 and so on does add up. And when you look at your balance, you can't even tell if you've been playing a mobile game or you lost it all in Las Vegas. Or players just getting fed up with the devs locking content behind freaking paywalls. However you want to put it, cash grab events and aggressive monetizations do drive players away, but it's also understandable why this is happening, because the studio failed to fix existing content and new content just falls short of expectations. In turn, the player base diminishes and the revenue drops considerably. To maintain a floating point, they need to do it. Otherwise, it's lights out. But as much as I want to see both sides of this problem, the situation could have easily been averted since last year, when the player base was still sufficient, and just by fixing the game and making some quality additions and improvements would have perpetuated the Omega subscriptions of many, thus rendering infusion of Cashgrab Events irrelevant. Are you enjoying the video so far? If yes, please hit that like and a subscribe button and support me for the content that I create. Before we see our number 1, here are some honorable mentions. ISK sinks placed on ship manufacturing being too high. Players focused on industry. Well, alongside the shitload of minerals and materials needed for production, they also need to come up with construction fees that are too big, hindering the process of production and forcing folks to use alts to farm PvE content for ISK generation as well. Poorly designed events, causing bad reception amongst the player base. Aside from 1 or 2 events over the 2-year span since launch, the players don't seem to be attracted so much by the events. Some just reek of bad overall design, while some just feel like an endless pit to throw money at, resembling mostly a casino slots machine rather than an entertaining and fun event to participate in. The lack of lore. EVE is so rich in lore that one could fill endless pages with stories, chronicles, and in-game events. This is the case in EVE Online, yet in EVE Echoes, the lore was left in disarray, unmanaged and untouched. The bits and pieces that we got don't even make sense because they are pulled off from its big brother, and players who had no contact with EVE Online prior to this game don't understand what any of that means at all. Number 1! The top spot is taken by a feature that not only did it manage to alienate players away from the game, but it is slowly shutting down the industry aspect and systematically killing off the sandbox economy. If your lips are spelling out insurance while crying in a corner, you are spot on. The insurance system generates ships out of thin air without concern for 2 of the most important aspects of the game: asset generation and asset destruction. The economy goes round circle, with some players mining resources to build ships, some players generating items from PvE engagements, and some players generating ISK through various means. They all come together in the market to swap goods, buy, sell, and trade. So when a player's ship blows up, the market should be the obvious location to seek a replacement for the ships and items. Builders get to sell their ships, module farmers get to sell their modules, and people with ISK get to spend their wealth buying them. But here comes the insurance system. It creates a short circuit in this ecosystem because the player who lost his stuff will just claim it back from a screen using Plex, and the system generates his stuff back just like that. People selling ships and people selling modules are left without customers. The system puts some buy orders on the market so that builders and item traders can sell the items directly to the system, thus maintaining the delicate balance of generation versus destruction. But no, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, as not every loss claimed via insurance gets a market order. But actually, it's a third of losses. Actually, even less than that. This causes surplus of items, surplus of ships, prices crashing as no one buys stuff anymore, and there's little to no demand, ultimately causing builders to stop building. Some of the industry players end up respecing on PvE or something else so that the game still has meaning to them. Others just sit and wait until eventually they leave the game and never come back. And it doesn't stop there. The implications can be observed everywhere, with tentacles having spread quite deep. Players often ask themselves why Plex prices are so high. Since, well, no one buys stuff anymore, there is too much ISK in the game. This causes inflation, and ISK devalues. So everything in theory should become more expensive, right? Wrong. In fact, only relevant assets become more expensive, as in Plex, while prices for items and ships are beyond salvation. Combine it with insurance payment, which is literally Plex. And with Plex sinks and Cashgrab Events, Plex will just continue to grow in price. And without industry, the sandbox economy will slowly receive its final nail in the coffin. Lastly, as more players leave the game, without any actual improvement done as soon as possible, it's going to be lights out. Why take action now? Because even with a game-breaking change for good, it's still going to take at least 6 months for the economy to recover. Meanwhile, new players or existing players need to join and play, and it will take some time until Omega payments plus, I don't know, any cosmetic microtransactions can be sufficient to keep the game afloat. If left like this, unchecked, unfixed, with complete disregard of the status quo, the future of this game is in real peril. Let's take a look at our giveaway winners who answered our last week's community question of the week. First winner is Doma64 with the comment, "The Lazarus unit is an alternative SP reset only currency. I see it as the IP for insurance. That way they can give out these Lazarus for free or after balance patch without affecting the Plex too much. They want to keep the Plex prices in the middle somewhere where it's low enough so that free-to-play players can afford to grind for them, but high enough so that players will want to purchase Plex to sell on the market. Drive the Plex price either way to extremities and one of those activities will end." That's a very good point. As for recruit program, I'm not even opening the screen. Looks like some kind of pyramid scheme. Not doing it for them. A good game doesn't need advertising. Congratulations, Domos64. Let's move over to our second winner, and it's Persidicera with the comment, "Way before this event came up, I've been helping new players to enjoy the game, but little did I know, when they start understanding the game and its monetization, ISK to Plex ratio, time to be Omega, ISK to keep Omega, among others, they leave the game almost instantly. I have spent billions to make new players stay, but when I see them logging off, not enjoying the game, I feel very sad because they are not enjoying the game I enjoy. Taking this into consideration, when I saw this event, I was literally shocked because I knew this wasn't going to work at all, since no new players were going to keep playing the game as it is now. I tried to bring back some of those players I helped, but they literally told me, what's the point of playing a game that doesn't gladly welcome you as a new player? I was baffled by it because I knew it was true. After that, I knew participating in this event was pointless. I'm not even going to make alts to exploit the event mechanics because the data gathered from this event will only mask the reality of the game. Well said, and also sad. Congratulations, Persidicera. Let's move over to our third and final winner for today, which is... Congratulations, Saksham Kumar Agarwal again, he won third place with the comment, "Sir, you were AFK for nearly 2 weeks. I was having bad thoughts. What happened to you?" But yeah, anyways, that's cool you had managed real life. As for the community question, I feel depressed right now. I'm so happy I didn't get recruited and I came back as a veteran in November 2021. But when the devs started showing their true colors, like Neon Rain, yeah, that wasn't the beginning, but I get your point. I instantly understood that this is something that requires a lot of time investment. I have not tried recruiting my real life friends as I fear they're just gonna blame me for their bad grades. Plus, they won't be able to face the world in the game as people are outright mean towards new players. They would quit on day 1 of their gameplay. Plus, the app purchases they require to do the missions, I hate them, and so will those who I recruit. What's more is since the ban in India, almost none of my friends would be willing to take the risk of downloading VPN to play, and it will be so difficult to create accounts every time someone connects VPN and all that procedure. Just gonna be one big mess of time and energy. Till now, I had been against alting, but I realized the game compels you to alt. It encourages you and sometimes even forces you to alt. Example, mining and industry. I'm thinking of creating an altar 2 now just to get some basic skill points from that store that I really require. This is the reason I didn't try recruiting them, because it would just mean pushing your friends in a hole from where they won't be able to come back out ever. Congratulations to our 3 lucky winners, and thank you all for participating in the giveaway. And of course, we can't end the video without, well, issuing a new community question of the week. Because, yeah, we have every week 3 Omega Combo clones to give away, the 3 lucky winners. In order to participate, drop a comment below with your in-game name and character ID and the answer to the community question of the week. And this week's question is, did you enjoy our top 10 list of today? Do you think that there's any issue that I didn't touch on and should have hit the list? Drop a comment below and let me know. That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you guys for watching. Have a big shout out to my channel supporters, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.